Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Welcome again to another session of Let's Study and Read the Scriptures. That's right. I am your speaker, the producer, and we are live Thursday evening, December 15th, and at 7:30. Y'all see the title, you know what it is. Negroes are the Shemites. That's right, the Hebrews. We bringing the receipts, bringing the straight receipts like that. You know what I mean? We bringing the receipts. So let me say peace and grace to all that have decided to join me. Peace and grace once again to those of you who have the peace within you to accept the truth. Yes, to you I say peace and grace. And so here we are again, another day that the Most High has made. Let us rejoice, be glad in it. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause some people didn't wake up this morning, but you and I, we got one more chance to try to get it right. That in itself is a tremendous blessing that the Most High has bestowed on us, right? So let me make sure that we all are on the same page here. Okay, let me see. Just make sure that we all on the same page here. Okay, checking out my live streams, making sure everything is up and running. And it is up and running. Everything is everything. All right, great. So again, I say welcome to you who have decided to join me, whether you are on Facebook just breezing through, whether you are on Let's Study and Read the Scriptures website. I greet you in peace for you who are able to receive the truth. That's right. The Negroes are the Shemites. The Negroes are the Shemites, the Hebrews. For sure, indeed. All right. And so I've been proving that lately. Hold on, let me just make sure my stream is up. Make sure I didn't get cut. This kind of stuff can upset some people. So I gotta make sure I ain't get cut. My line didn't get cut off. They seem to do that a lot to me. So if I seem like I'm bumbling, I'm not. I'm just checking sure to make sure everything is running, because they see my title sometimes and I get cut off. Right? And so I'm trying to see if it's still going, because I don't actually see I don't see a signal in headquarters, but I see one on the internet. So just give me a second here. Just checking this out. Just checking it out. Besides, just to give a few people a few minutes to come in. Okay. Join in on the topic if you want to. Okay, so I see that it is on it. from the server too. All right, so all good there. Yes. Read the title. Did read the title. Negroes are the Shemites. Oh yeah. So what I got showing here is um a book, right? A book called African, the description of Africa, the accurate description of Egypt, Libya, Barbaria, and Negroland, and a few other places it lists. I mean, that's literally the name of the book. It's a long title. But it's about, I don't know, maybe 600 pages. So it ain't no little book. You know what I'm saying? It's about all the countries in Africa. Okay, then they have a spot designated for Negroland. Okay, Negroland. So that is the place that we were before being transported over to the Americas. Right. So um let me see. Now I'm finna show you something right quick. Let me drop this on you right quick. I got a Zondervan Encyclo Bible Dictionary. They said they didn't make this version anymore, but apparently I still have mine. So I had it put up somewhere for a few years and forgot I had it. So, but in this, it's going to say that the Negroes are not part of the Hamitic tribe. Okay, now this is in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. So let's run that. Let's run that clip right quick. Now I recorded this separately.
I am I'm looking into the Zondervan compact Bible here. Zondervan compact Bible dictionary. Had to go into my stashy to find it. I didn't even remember I had it, but you hear what it says about him. It says son of Nun, probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of the 8 persons to the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, and Canaanite. Okay, so this is the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, that the Negroes from the line of Ham. See that? Zondervan Bible Compact Dictionary. Recording this on Friday, December 8th. December 9th. I saw it as getting blurry now. The youngest of 6 years before the flood. Persons to live through the flood are the dark races, not the Negroes. So Negroes are not Ham. We are.
All right. So as you see, the clip says that we are we're not Ham, right? We are not Ham. Let me freeze that screen. so you can see it, because there's a lot of moving around in there. So I'll freeze the screen so you can read that clearly. And it says, where it says the youngest son of Noah, it says Ham. Let me blow that up. Okay. Get a real good view of this thing. All right. So it says Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, the Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites, right? This is Zondervan Bible Dictionary. I did not write this. Neither did none of my brothers, my black brothers. Neither did any of us write this. All right, but these are the scholars, right? So it says. So it's just more proof. They said this it's not in print anymore. This version of the Zondervan Bible Dictionary is not in print anymore. I don't know, because I never went to try to buy another one. You know what I'm saying? I know I had bought a whole bunch of books about 6 years ago. Some of them I didn't read, and the Zondervan Bible Dictionary was one of them. I did not even read it at the time. But when I seen some other brothers posting the post about this, I was like, dang, I gotta get me a Zondervan Bible Dictionary. And I forgot I had one put up. I had it put up for some years. You know what I'm saying? And just recently, when I was going through my stock of books, so I can whip out some stuff to read that I knew I had bought, I saw this in there. And I said, oh, wow, how cool is that? Right? So we see it says, he became the progenitor of the dark races, talking about Ham, but not the Negroes. Not the Negroes. So the Negroes and the Egyptians and the Ethiopians and the Libyans and the Canaanites is not the same people, right? We got the same complexion, but we're not the same people. That just the way it is. We love y'all, but we just not the same people. How about that? Right? We got love for you. You know what I'm saying? All of y'all. You know what I mean? Really, we do. But we just not the same people. And that's just the point I'm trying to bring out. All right, so why is that important? I mean, you say, I keep bringing this out for a particular reason. You know what I'm saying? So that our people can understand who they are and return to the covenant, and to know that we have an inheritance. That's mainly the reason I'm bringing this out. It's all about the inheritance of the people. You know what I'm saying? I remember last week I was talking about how, a lot of, young African, so-called African Americans, which are really the Hebrews, they look at their parents sometimes and be like, yo, they can't afford to do this and that. And they sometimes begin to disparage them because of these things. You know what I'm saying? Thinking we ain't nothing or we ain't nobody. And they despise us because we cannot afford to do all the things that other people are doing, and they seem so happy, and we are so miserable and poor. Granted, many of our people are struggling, you know what I'm saying, to make ends meet. And so much so that it has affected the family, it has split up the Hebrew families, you know what I'm saying, to a large degree. And so this dissolution of the family, is wreaking a lot of hard feelings to our young people. And we don't need them to have the hard feelings, because that's where the wolf come in at, try to make himself like a sheep, like their hero, to save them. But all he's trying to do is destroy them. You know what I'm saying? Just like now in the schools, they are putting, teaching transgenderism to little kids, man. How crazy is that, yo? You know what I'm saying? It just passed a, same sex union thing or whatever. Total abomination. You know what I'm saying? In the eyes of the Most High. So we need our young people to look to us, look to the men of the Hebrews, you know what I'm saying, to find themselves again. You know what I'm saying? And not to disparage their heritage because we don't have certain things. But one thing we do have, and that is the inheritance of the kingdom, a promise. You know what I'm saying? From the beginning, this side of the Most High did it. He promised us a certain thing. You know what I'm saying? And so to know that we are the Hebrews, man, that's some kind of relief. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's important for you to have children by your own kind. You know, if you don't get to heaven and your child do, and he been taught right, maybe he can ask the Most High, Jesus, to forgive you. You know what I'm saying? To forgive the parent. You know what I'm saying? That they may come into the kingdom. That's what an inheritance does. He gonna give you what you want. You want to honor your mother and your father. And so you would ask you would ask the Messiah to forgive your parents. That's why it was so crucial and critical for the Hebrews to keep their seed within their own people and not give it away. Because God forbid if you give it away and your children are not of the inheritance, and they don't make it into the kingdom. They do make it, as a servant. It's not going to be the same as the ones who are inheritors of the promise. You know what I'm saying? It's just like his children. You a parent, right? You got children, they ask you for something, you're going to try to give it to them if it's within your power. You know what I'm saying? I don't know a parent that would not give it to their child if it's within their power. So if it's not within a parent's power, that's the reason why you didn't get it, more than likely. You know what I'm saying? More than likely. But a lot of people don't younger people don't realize that. They don't realize it until they get older and they got to pay bills, stuff like that. So, but the point, what I'm trying to say is your inheritance is very important. You know what I'm saying? The inheritance of the Hebrews is very important. Now, some people might say, "Oh man, get off on that subject," but no, I think it's important for people to know this. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? If God made the promise, how is it that the people that He promised this thing to don't even know about it? You know what I'm saying? That, to me, that don't make no sense. He makes a promise to the people, but the people He made the promise to shouldn't know about it. That don't make no sense. He wants you to know about this promise. He wants you to know about this agreement that He made, this covenant. He wants you to know. You know what I'm saying? So the whole ideology of not talking about it, you know what I'm saying? Be hush hush about this, you know what I mean? That's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? That's all the ancients talked about because they knew it was theirs. And it was not a thing to be ashamed of. It was not a thing, to take lightly. It was not a thing to throw away. It was not that kind of thing that you would do. You know what I'm saying? When the Most High has a promise for you, a connection with you, you don't throw that thing away. You know what I'm saying? And so, I'm not saying that, you know, don't try to save another person's soul. That ain't the whole idea of what I'm saying. But what I'm trying to say too is that for the people that do have this promise, what's wrong with them knowing about it? They supposed to know. That's what I'm saying. They should know. They supposed to know. And so I'm going to tell them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be the type and be like, no, I ain't telling them nothing. That's crazy. Why would you do that? Why would you hold that from them? Why would you hold that like it's some secret or something? It ain't no secret. It ain't supposed to be a secret. It ain't supposed to be a thing you supposed to run from. You supposed to embrace that thing and bless your king. Bless the king. Bless the Most High for that thing, yo. You know what I'm saying? Deuteronomy. Let's go to Deuteronomy 4:20 right quick. Right? And it reads, "But the Lord hath taken you and brought you forth out of the iron furnace, even out of Egypt, to be unto him a people of inheritance, as ye are this day." You know what I'm saying? So when he's letting them know that he took Israel to himself to be an inheritance. That's just the way it is. Let's go up a verse. Let's go up. Let's go up a verse. Okay. Let's go up a verse. It says, unless thou lift up thine eyes into the, oh, he's telling them not to thou worship the stars and the moon, right? You know, but he was trying to remind them, don't do that thing because he's the inheritance, right? All right, let's go to Deuteronomy 32 and verse 8. Because this is a better example. Well, that's a good example too, because you're not supposed to have no gods before the Most High. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times people are worshiping gods that don't know that they're doing that thing. You know what I'm saying? For instance, you know, doing celebrating these heathen holidays, that means you're aligning yourself to their gods. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's important not to do those things, you know. And I want to do one on that later, you know what I'm saying? Maybe next week, you know what I'm saying? Right before they get ready to jump that thing off and show that you know, the holiday they get ready to celebrate is a Satanist holiday. It's not a holiday celebrating Christ. Christ was not born in the winter. He was born in the third month on the 15th day of the month on Pentecost. Look at Luke and look at Matthew about his birth. You know what I'm saying? See what month the angel visited Mary, and then count the months. And that'll give you the time that he was born. All right, so Deuteronomy 32 and 8 says this. When the Most High divided up the nations, when the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. You hear that? Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. And who is Jacob? Jacob is what they call Israel. Okay, the Bantu people. The Igbos, the Airways, all these different tribes, all belong to Jacob. You know what I'm saying? The people transported to the four corners of the earth, the Negroes. We are the children of Jacob. We are the Shemites. Right? It says, for the Lord's portion is his people, and Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. Okay, he found him in the desert land, and in the waste howling wilderness. He led him about, he instructed him, and kept him as the apple of his eye. As an eagle stirreth up her nest, flirteth over her young, spreadeth abroad her wings, taketh them, and beareth them on her wings. So the Lord alone did lead him. There was no strange God with him. He made him to ride on the high places of the earth, that he may eat the increase of the fields. And made him to suck the honey out of the rock, and oil of the flinty rock. Right? So, this is what the Most High was doing for the children of Israel. Right? Deuteronomy 32 and 15, it says, But Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked. Thou art waxen fat, thou art grown thick, thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook God which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. And this is what we have today. People lightly esteem God. They might mention God here and there. Yeah, I believe in God. Yeah, thank God. Thank God. And then they'll go right, to the club and get drunk, get a jump off going on, go smoke a few blunts, whatever else they conjure up that's evil, that's against God's law. Lightly esteeming the rock of their salvation. Okay? Now, I'm not trying to get all preachy on you. You know what I'm saying? That ain't the thing I'm trying to do. But, you do need to know these things. That's for sure. You know what I mean? But it says, Then they forsook God which made them, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods, with abominations provoked they him to anger. They sacrificed unto devils, not to God. That's eating animals. A lot of people still don't understand that thing, but I'm praying that they do get it sooner or later. To gods whom they know not, to new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. Of the rock that beget thee, thou art unmindful, and hast forgotten God that formed thee. And when the Lord saw it, he abhorred thee because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be. Well, he don't need to see because he already know. But he did hid his face from us during this time. You know what I'm saying? Because we was not keeping his commandments. And if God hide his face from you, you about messed up. He said, for they are a very forward generation, children in whom is no faith. Okay. So this is why we went through the things that we have gone through. This is why. But it still don't change who we are. It still don't, change our identity far as a people, a nation. That don't change. You know what I'm saying? That don't change. So let's go back to that. Let's just take a look at that. Let's go back and take a look at some of these things, okay? Let's read this, right? Because this was my lead off when I came in, okay? And it reads as follows. This is from a book called Africa, an accurate description of Egypt, Libya, Barbaria, Negroland, and it's a long title for the book. But let's read it. It says, Negroland, the country of the Jews, or of Semites. It says, Semites called this country in Italian Terre Giude, Jude, or Guide. That's how they say it in Italian, Guide. Like they say the Guidos. That's why they don't like that name, Guido, because you calling them black, basically. Terre Guide, the Abyssines, Zeonuche, but divers Europeans, a little altering the pronunciation, Semen, instead of Zemech or Zemen. It lieth enclosed with mountains and deserts on the east, extending themselves to the Nile, on the south to Congo, on and the equinoctial line, in the west to the kingdom of Benin, and on the north over against Divina and Midra, a country but little known and less converted and less conversed with, or a country little known and less conversed with, and under the dominion of the Abyssines. So here, in this book, it's saying the Abyssines, which are the Ethiopians, are different from the Negroes. We just saw that in the encyclopedia, the Zondervan Bible Encyclopedia, where it has the Ethiopians under Ham, right? And so these designations of people calling themselves Jews, different people calling themselves Jews, is so controversial. It's so confusing. But I promise you, like, this stuff written right here, black people did not write this. This book right here, a black person didn't write this book. This book was written by John Ogilvie. He lived in the 1600s. That's 400 years ago. He wrote a whole book about all the countries that were in Africa. He did a detailed thing about them. You know what I'm saying? Or mention them, or what they did, what they liked, what they were like, or something like that. What countries were next to it. Most of these people were working for the kings of nations to get information about the people that were there. That's what they believe. It's all gonna get straightened out at the end. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad at my brothers, the Bantu, for believing that. We believed a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? But one thing for sure is that we are the Bantus, the Negroes, we are the Hebrews. They wrote about us. This is evidence right here. They drew maps of our location. Right? They drew maps of our location. Okay, so let's look at I'm looking in the same book, and yeah, so this is the same book, right? This is the same book. One page earlier is another country called Deuma. So this guy mentions it a few times in this book. That goes to show that it was just not accidental. You know what I'm saying? It's slipping the tongue. It definitely meant intentionally to put this in there and to say that, yo, these are the people. So let's read. It says, the kingdom of Dauma lies surrounded on the east by Medra, on the north with the desert of Seth, to the west hath the wilds of Saul, and on the south the Jews' country, or the kingdom of Semites. So, who are the Semites? All this back and forth about Negroes being anti-Semitic, man, it's a crock, you know what? You know what I'm saying? It's a crock of you know what. And I know internally they know it too, but they didn't gas themselves up. Maybe they don't know. Maybe their parents actually did teach them these things. Or I feel for them. You know what I'm saying? That they know not the truth or them or their own self. But watch this. It says, the inhabitants are very rich. No, this was about the Dumas. He said the inhabitants are very rich, governed by a prince. But the point that I wanted to bring out is that he drew them again as living south, uh, that the Jews was south of this country, Dauma. Now, if you look at some old maps, you will see Dauma on the map, and south of that is where the Jews were. This is in Africa, in the area called Negro land. Okay, so let's he mentions it again. Now this is a place called Madra. Okay, now I left this screenshot intentionally like this to show you, yeah, that I got this from a book. You know what I'm saying? I got the hard copy too, but I also got it on Kindle. And the name of the book, as you can see up top, if you got like on your laptop, you can see it. Maybe if you're on your cell phone, you're not gonna be see it because it's so small. But in the top left corner, you can see the title of the book, Africa being an accurate description of the regions of Egypt, Barbary, and Libya. And the actual title is a lot longer than that, though. Trust me. Maybe I show the title page, and you can see how long it is. And so it says, Mandra also is a kingdom could terminate in the east of Gorian, Goran, in the west of Dauma, on the south by the Jews' country, and on the north with Brno. So again, this Jews is on the south by the Jews' country. Now this is all Africa that we reading about. You know what I'm saying? Negro land. This is all. This is all. It's so much so much they have covered up. Oh my goodness, it's crazy. But here we go. It says about Gor Iran. Okay, I would say it like that. It says Gorian lies encompassed on the east with the Nile, on the west with Medra, hath Go, on the north, and divided on the south by several mountains from Jewin land. Okay, then they try to dog us out, right? He said the people are brutish as wild beasts, struggling with 1,000 kinds of miseries and calamities in the desert. There be none that can understand their language. However, they have a kind of government that too absolutely monarchical. Yeah, right. So the mountains is called the mountains of Kong. You know what I'm saying? It stretches from the mountain of Kong, stretches throughout Negro land all the way to the east. Then it becomes the mountain of the moons. All right. So he didn't mention it like 4 times in this book right here. And so this is not a mistake. You know what I'm saying? And we have the map to also back it up. So this is not like some fluke. This is not a fluke situation. The country of the Jews, the kingdom of Semen, the real Semites, the Negroes, the ones who they never suspected to be the children of God, right? All right, so here's the proof right here, folks. I mean, you know what I'm saying? There's the proof right here. That's why I keep throwing this up. You know, this is like boom, 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 stamp, bread evidence. We didn't write these books. None of my brothers, none of my sisters wrote these books in the 1600s. We didn't write them. You know what I'm saying? It was other people writing about us. The Jews, Jews were already famous. We was already famous. They wanted to know where we were, you know what I'm saying? And hey, they found us. You know what I'm saying? And what happened after that? Oh, we know what happened after that. What happened after that? It's that slave trade. That's what happened after that, right? But so I brought that out to show that we are the people, you know what I'm saying, and that we have an inheritance to prove that we are the ones that are of that inheritance and not somebody else, right? So let's look at the Book of Jubilees. Let's look at the Jubilees, Book of Jubilees. I know some people don't like the Book of Jubilees. They don't like the Book of Enoch. They think it's new. These books been around for thousands of years, hundreds of years. You know what I'm saying? My first Bible I got, um, that brought me closer to repentance, was a donated Bible, and it was a late 1800s, like 1899, something like that. You know what I'm saying? That's what the year that Bible was dated, and in that Bible contained Jubilees. It contained Enoch. It contained the Apocryphas, and and that was my first introduction to the Apocryphas, Enoch, Jubilees, all that. You know what I'm saying? I had never seen those books before at all. Never even heard about them until like that Bible. You know what I'm saying? It was donated and nobody wanted. I said, yo, who books is this? You know what I'm saying? Nobody wanted. I say, can I have it? And I took it, and when I took it and later that evening, I opened it up and seen all these extra books in it. I was like, wow, what is this? I was kind of nervous about it. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. But as I learned, you know, then I learned that these are some hidden books I never knew. But that Bible was powerful. You know what I'm saying? That was a powerful Bible right there. All right, so the inheritance. Let's go to Jubilees 8 and 12. Let's start there. Now let's start at verse 10. Let's start at verse 10. It says, and it came to pass in the beginning of the 33rd Jubilee that they divided the earth into three parts for Shem and Ham and Japheth according to the inheritance of each. In the first year, in the first week, when one of us who had been sent was with them. This is an angel talking to Moses. Okay, so he's giving Moses the history. So it says, he called his sons, and they drew nigh to him, and they and their children. And he divided the earth into the lots, which his three sons were to take in possession. And they reached forth their hands and took the writing out of the bosom of Noah their father. And there came forth on the writing as Shem's lot the middle of the earth, which he should take as an inheritance for himself and for his sons, for the generations of eternity. See, we're talking about inheritance right here. You know what I'm saying? For the generations of eternity. Now, the middle of the earth is the best land of the earth. It's the best temperatures. Me personally, I can't stand the cold. It ain't for me. Hold on to it and honor it. This is a gift from the Most High. Why wouldn't you appreciate that? Why wouldn't some preachers want to talk about that thing like it's some taboo or something? You know what I'm saying? Straight up. Some people treating it like it's a taboo conversation. Man, that ain't cool. I'm just gonna say it like that. That is not cool. You're gonna withhold from the people whom God had given a promise to, whom he wants to know whom he wants them to know that they have a promise, but you won't even tell them. You still so busy trying to be super holy. You know what I'm saying? Holiness is the telling the truth. That's what holiness is. Why would you hold that back from people? Because you don't want them to feel better than somebody? Well, that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. That ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Hey, you know what I'm saying? You can, just like you preach any other message, you can preach a message where they don't, get the boasting or acting some kind of way because of that. You know what I'm saying? But they should know. They should know. You know what I'm saying? I'm a believer to that thing, yo. All right. So, all right, let's go back to the scriptures. Let's go back to the scriptures. We talking about this inheritance because some people, man, they trying to give away the inheritance and stuff like that. That's strange to me, right? They be trying to give away the inheritance, right? Let's go to Deuteronomy. Let's go to Deuteronomy 33 verses 1 through 4. You know, because we have this problem. Some people say, "Oh yeah, I heard that before." But I understand the Most High is finna make good on all of that. This is why the awakening is happening. The Most High is going to make good on this thing. You know what I'm saying? And He wants us to know about it. Right. So let's read Deuteronomy 33. What I say? Yeah, 33 and verses 1 through 4. Yeah, that's what I said. All right. Okay. I got it. All right, let's read that. And it reads, "And this is the blessing wherewith Moses, the man of God, blessed the children of Israel before his death. And he said, The Lord came from Sinai and rose up from Seir unto them. He shined forth from Mount Paran, and he came forth with 10,000s of saints. From his right hand went a fiery law for them." Now this is Moses prophesying. This is saying what he saw. Before his death, he's telling this to the children of Israel, to us, to our forefathers. How about that? And he says, he saw the Lord rose up from Sinai, from Seir, shine forth from Paran. And he came with 10,000s of saints. And from his right hand went a fiery law. And went a fiery law for them. And yet people say the law is done away with. In the end still, he coming back with the fiery law. This is how serious keeping the law is. You know what I'm saying? But trying your best. Putting every foot forward. God knows the heart. You know what I'm saying? He knows the heart. But if you blowing that thing off like, man, I'm just talking junk. I done heard all that before. This ain't that type of conversation, man. I'm sorry to tell you, this is not that type of conversation. Right? And so, it said, from his right hand went a fiery law. So that law is still in effect. And I hate when people tell people that the laws are done away with. And then instantly people think the Ten Commandments is gone and things of that nature. And so this is what you have now, church folks supporting homosexuality. You know what I'm saying? Well, I heard one preacher talking about smoking weed in the church and all this. This is why they support being remarried, divorcing and remarrying and all this. I mean, just breaking the law. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I came up under that kind of teaching too. I don't think these people knew. I just don't. I think they went to the seminary schools, the people who were not charged with the oracles of God, and they learned from them. And so they erred. You know what I'm saying? They taught them error. You know what I'm saying? But How would God judge them? That I don't know. You know what I'm saying? He's merciful. You know, he probably saying, oh, they didn't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I ain't gonna say. But I'm saying right now, those of you who are listening, you know now. You know the truth. You can't say you didn't know. You know what I'm saying? And so don't reject the truth. Don't blow it off. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just some small talk. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, and it says, from his right hand went a fiery law. Okay. Yea, he loved the people. All his saints are in thy hand. Okay. He said, all the saints are in thy hand, and they sat down at thy feet. Everyone shall receive of thy words. All right, this talking about the coming of the Lord. He said, yea, he loved the people and all his saints, and all his saints are in thy hand, and they sit down at thy feet. Everyone shall receive of thy words. Moses commanded us a law, even the inheritance of the congregation of Jacob. So we all inheriting this thing. You know what I'm saying? The children of Jacob, the congregation of Jacob. And he was king in Jezreel. Moses, that's who they talking about. He was king in Jezreel when the heads of people and the tribes of Israel gathered together. So Moses is getting ready to pass away at this point. But he told them that the Most High is coming back, thousands of his saints, with the fiery law. And everybody shall do them. They shall receive this thing. You know what I'm saying? They shall receive the law. Right? And so when the Messiah was on the earth, you know what I'm saying? He said, go to the lost sheep of Israel. You know, a lot of times we think that Israel was really lost and can't be found somewhere. Well, that we see that's not true, because there's many writings about the Hebrews, you know what I'm saying? So the idea of them not being found, maybe their identities were hidden, you know what I'm saying? From the dragon, I would say that. But as far as them being lost, I don't buy into that, especially not from the Messiah. But I'm gonna give you a similitude of what the Messiah was trying to say. Let's go to Psalms 119 and 176. And it says, this is David. He said, I have gone astray like a lost sheep. Seek thy servant, for I do not forget thy commandments. So the lost sheep are the Israel who went astray. That's what the lost sheep is, because they did not know his commandments. That's what he means by the lost sheep. Let's go to Jeremiah 50 and 6. And Jeremiah repeats that same theology, that same way of thinking. He says, my people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. Right? Who's the resting place? That's the Most High. That's our rest. Okay? Let's read Jeremiah. Let's go one verse. Let's read Jeremiah 50 and 5. It says, they shall ask the way to Zion with their faces to the word, saying, come, let us join ourselves to the Lord in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten. Then he says, my people have been lost sheep. Their shepherd hath caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. So he said they're going from a mountain to hill. That means they used to be large. They're going from a mountain to a hill. They're small now. You went from being large to being small. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of stature. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of stature, when he says that, he said, they have forgotten their resting place was the Most High. Now let's go to Matthew 10, 5 and 7. Because when the Messiah was on the earth, he commanded them to go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Okay? He told them don't go to the Gentiles at that time. But later on, he did say, teach all flesh. He ended up telling them to teach all flesh. But at that time, at this particular time, he said, don't go to the Gentiles. But later, he says, teach all flesh. You know what I'm saying? So all flesh means everybody. You know what I'm saying? Teach everybody. But at first, they were supposed to only go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Now watch this. Matthew 10:5, it says, these 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, and not into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And as ye go, preach, saying, the kingdom is at hand. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely you have received, freely give. Is that a thought right there? Freely you have received, freely give. Providing neither gold, nor silver, nor brass for your purses, nor scrips for your journey, neither two coats, neither. This is. I'm saying this to bring out something. It says neither scrip for your journey, neither two coats, neither shoes, neither nor yet stays, for the workman is worthy of his meat. Okay, and so he sends them out. He says, go tell them the kingdom of God is at hand, right? So they did that. Even while he was on the earth, he sent them out 4 by 4, 2 by 2s. You know what I'm saying? He sent them out, right? Let's read about that in Luke 10 and 17 when they're coming back. And I'm saying this for a purpose, saying some people going to understand what I'm talking about. Some people who are new, they're not going to understand this. It's all going to be new to them anyways. But this part right here, it says, and the 70 returned again with joy, saying, Lord, even the devils are subject unto us through thy name. And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning and fall from heaven. Right? And so he sends the 70 out. They go and preach the gospel. Like they was out healing people, casting devils out. They was all subject to them. This all happened while the Messiah was on the earth. This all happened while the Messiah was on the earth. Now, I have to pose a question for those who says that the Israelites came over to North America. And if that was the case, that the 10 tribes came over to North America, they had proposed that in some of the books. They wasn't sure. They never said it was for sure there was Israelites. They said they had customs, a few customs like maybe the burning of the animal, or maybe one or two different things they were doing like the Israelites. But overall, you know what I'm saying, there was not worshiping like the Israelites. It says, I'm saying the question that I'm asking, if the 10 tribes came to North America and no one can be saved but the Israelites, how was it that the 70 was sent out and came back? If the lost tribes were in America, that's where they were supposed to, under some theologies, is where they're supposed to have came after they left Assyria. They came to North America. Well, how was it that those 70 went out and they came right back? I mean, that's a long journey to leave from Jerusalem, Israel, to come all the way over here to America by a sailboat, because they didn't have boats, motorboats back then. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's a really long journey. We're talking like a couple of weeks, maybe months even, for them to go through the whole country of America preaching the gospel and then come back. I don't think so, man. They don't mention that nowhere. He sent the 70 out. They went out to places like Asia. You know what I'm saying? They went to places like Asia. They went to places like Greek, Rome. They went to places like Africa. You know what I'm saying? They didn't come to North America, the 70, looking for the lost sheep. So in that way, we can say that the lost sheep truly means to have gone astray, to have forgotten the true ways of the Most High, to have forgotten his laws and the proper way to keep them. That's what the lost sheep of the house of Israel means. Those who are lost from the way, the path that leadeth to righteousness, the path that leadeth to the kingdom of God. Not that he didn't know where they were, go find them. This is the Messiah we talking about. He knew where everybody was. So they wasn't lost in that sense of, oh, I can't find myself, or I don't know where they are. No, they were lost from the path of the Most High. That's why I used the reference of Jeremiah 50 and 6 and Psalms 119 and 176. When David said, I have gone astray like a lost sheep. Inheritance is a big deal. And it's not something that you should give away and say, here, you too, this is your inheritance too. I say, not I say, but the scriptures say all can inherit eternal life if they repent. That much is true. And I would never deny anyone that, you know what I'm saying, the gospels. That's why I don't preach that. I don't speak on that. You know what I'm saying? But as far as inheritance, that is the inheritance of kingship, royalty. That belongs to the children of Jacob. That's the inheritance. That's the promise that he will forgive us. So being the seed of Jacob, being a Negro, ain't such a bad thing after all. How about that? We used to, you read the slave stories, and sometimes you can think like, dang, man, feel some kind of way about being black. Like we cursed or vexed. You know what I'm saying? They tried to say that we were the Canaanites, Gentiles. That's what the church was teaching. I mean, they really didn't know what they were talking about. It made us feel really bad, really low. Well, I mean, but the thing of it is, we such a loving people, we even accepted that. Long as the Most High long as Jesus have mercy on us, we accept that title. Just have some mercy on us. You know what I'm saying? We didn't make a big deal, big smoke about being a Gentile when we thought we was that. It's thankful. You know what I'm saying? Just thankful. And now that we find out the truth, that the Negroes are not Hamitic, that the Negroes are the inheritance of Jacob. Inheritors of the Most High, His chosen. Now they want us to forget about it. It don't mean nothing. Man, they got to be all out crazy. That's what I got to say about them jokers, yo. They got to be all out crazy. Yo, I'm serious. You got to be crazy for me to forget, you know what I'm saying? Or to want to let go of this inheritance. What you smoking, man? What you smoking on, for real? You know what I'm saying? If it was you, you would be jumping for joy too. So quit hating. That's my angle tonight. Stop hating. You know what I'm saying? And the people who this inheritance belong to, who it belongs to, yo, receive that thing because it's yours. We brought forth truth. We brought forth the ancient books. None of us wrote this stuff. Books 500 years old, 300 years old. Maps depicting the truth, who the true Jews were. Scriptures, prophecies being fulfilled. And yet you would turn your eye from all that and say, no, none of that don't matter. Well, if it didn't matter, none of the prophecies would have happened. But they happened because God is true and men are liars. And so, if God say that he has a promise for me, that he has a promise for you, I don't know about you, but I'm going to take that thing and thank him all the way. You know what I'm saying? So this goes to my brothers. This goes to my sisters. This goes to my sons, my daughters. This goes to my people. Bless God. You know what I'm saying? Because you are the children of Jacob whom he hath chosen. It's up to you to choose him now, because he already chose you. It was already written. So if you have not, come back to the way of truth. Return to the path of life by keeping God's commandments, having faith in his Messiah, who taught us the proper ways, the right ways to keep the laws. And in some further teachings, I'm going to go a little bit more into some of the doctrines of those things that I've already have done so. But don't reject your inheritance, yo. Don't do it. And so that's all I have for you today. I'm TheProducer. And for you, who have the peace in you to receive the truth, to you, I say, peace and grace. Till next time.